Oh. This is really interesting. Tom MacDonald, Dear Slim, produced by M. I didn't even know M produced.
It's like Dear Stan, so he's like the writer.
Oh, that'll be interesting. So this is like
the other side?
Stan's side? No, but
huh?
No. Who are you talking about?
The thing. Let's just watch this.
Yeah, you lost me there. So you're saying this
it's like his version of Dear Stan.
Dear Stan? You mean Dear Stan?
Yeah, that's Eminem's song.
No, in Stan, Eminem was writing to Stan. That was Dear Stan.
Yeah, so it's his version of Dear Stan.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm slow today.
You're slow and sweaty.
Let's see what Tom got. I'm so intrigued right now and so curious.
Dear Slim, I thought you might have heard of me maybe, because lately everywhere I turn...
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love this because it's in real life.
Dear Slim, I thought you might have heard of me maybe, because lately everywhere I turn someone's comparing us crazy. I never would have thought when I was bumping Biggie and Pac that I would buy bleach in a box and become the product of shade. But I'm here now. Hi, my name is Tom MacDonald. People call me controversial. I'm the one that counterculture follows. Every song I drop's a problem. I offend an awful lot with topics commenting on race and politics. I'm pretty awesome. Dear Slim, I know we're very different.
See, it's funny. I actually don't compare them, but like he's absolutely right. When M first came out, M was extremely controversial as well. Like parents were coming after him. Politicians I forgot exactly what it was, but like his music was being like denigrated and seen as like toxic to the youth. Right? And just yeah, it was definitely controversial, I would say, especially when he first came out. Because I remember when I listened to him, like I was lucky enough to have a mom that was okay with buying me the album, but like people were like kind of shitting on him, but Eminem was just calling people out, which I love about M. And I think it's the same reason why people gravitate towards Tom, because that's what I like about Tom, that he speaks on topics without a filter. So whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or not, I think it's a good, and it's music, right? You should be able to express yourself freely, similarly to like a comedian. Right, if you have to filter a comedian or an artist, it's going to take away from their form.
Exactly.
And from their creativity.
A lot with topics commenting on race and politics. I'm pretty awesome. Dear Slim, I know we're very different politically. Seems like some of your biggest fans are the victims I'm triggering. They're convinced I don't like you, which ain't consistent with history. I was picked on as a kid and they don't know what Slim did for me. But I'm here now and I fight the system just like you. Was addicted to pills and liquor and quit them just like you. People claim that you hate me, but Marshall, that can't be right, dude. You'd have to hate yourself as well, cause Marshall, I'm you. Marshall, remember back when you became Eminem. Change the world with a pen. Well, now I'm just like you. I don't give a what, saying what I want with my fingers up. Everybody triggered and they think I suck, but I don't give a what. Nah, 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 nah. I don't give a what. Nah, 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 nah. Dear Slim, I thought that maybe because you paved the way for me, you might relate to weight that Caucasian rappers are carrying. They're constantly comparing us to you, it's embarrassing. Never gaining their approval, it's just hate we're inheriting. But I'm here now, go ahead and hate it, don't hurt. Call me culture vulture garbage, those are ignorant words. I kill a vulture, cook the poultry in a pan till it's burnt. See Marshall, I'm just like you, I'm flipping the bird. Dear Slim, I just want to give you your flowers. I spent hours memorizing all of your songs in 2000. You were the reason I screamed at all of my teachers. A teen, I needed your CD on repeat and shady space on my t-shirt. But I'm here now, they call me controversial just like you. We're both white, both rap, both of our eyes blue. Screw any guy who tries to say you changed and don't like you, cause in my mind it's still 99, and I'm you. Marshall, remember back when you became Eminem. You changed the world with a pen. Well, now I'm just like you. I don't give a what, saying what I want with my fingers up. Everybody triggered and they think I suck, but I don't give a what. Nah, 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 nah. I don't give a what. Nah, 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 nah.
The one thing I would say though about Tom, I think he's definitely more controversial than M. I think he speaks on much more sensitive topics than M did. Like, because he talks about topics that I think most artists would steer away from, because like you run the risk of alienating a certain audience when you do what he does, when you speak on controversial topics, right? So like there's gonna be a large percentage of people that aren't gonna agree or maybe potentially even hate those opinions. And the fact that he still speaks freely and doesn't really, maybe he still considers it but doesn't care, I think makes him a very strong artist. And most artists don't do that because they're trying to cater to a broad audience. So they try to minimize like ostracizing or alienating any group of people.
I don't think it's fair to even compare because it's I feel like it's two different time periods. Like what's relevant today he's addressing, whereas like if you look at Eminem's time, like even when he talked about like whatever controversial stuff he talked about, like isn't it just a reflection of what was going on then?
That's a good point, because like what's controversial during Eminem's period isn't the same as what's controversial today. And then also the culture shifts a lot. So that's true. Because today's culture, I think, is much more sensitive than the culture from, let's say, 20 years ago. So that's a good point. I think cancel culture is obviously much more relevant today. Like it wasn't the same, I think, during M's time. So that's a good point.
Whether you love me or hate me, you think I'm crazy. Dropped $100,000 to get a beat from Shady. I really hope when I bought it he wasn't angry, but I really had to tell him that he changed me. The truth of the matter is, without you, Marshall Mathers, I would've committed suicide before I was a rapper. You showed me that I could do it. I didn't need to be blacker. I know it's stupid, but I just had to do my best to say thank you. Marshall, remember back when you became Eminem. You changed the world with a pen. Well, now I'm just like you. I don't give a what, saying what I want with my fingers up. Everybody triggered and they think I suck, but I don't give a what, I don't give a what, Marshall, remember back when you became Eminem. You changed the world with a pen. Well, now I'm just like you. I don't give a what, saying what I want with my fingers up. Everybody triggered and they think I suck, but I don't give a what, I don't give a what,
He has like similar attitudes as Eminem, like that I don't care attitude.
Yeah, I mean, you see it throughout like our time, like the I don't give a fuck type of people. Like I immediately think of M from back then, like 50 Cent, NWA, Tupac. I want to say Biggie too, but definitely more Tupac. Tupac was very vocal and he was very influential.
And I don't think he was as loved, right?
I don't know, like. For me, like in my area, obviously, like when you're from Brooklyn, like I think it's more Biggie dominant because he's from here. Mm-hmm. But I think globally, I don't know. I think Tupac was just a huge figure. Like I like Tupac a lot, but he also had like influence from like, comes from like a Black Panther background. So like he had that rebellious attitude kind of ingrained in him from when he was a kid. And I just think overall he had a larger impact. I think, at least from what I remember. But yeah, like, and I think that's why people like artists that have those characteristics. Like I even think about like, you have people like Trump, people with no filter. A lot of people like that because it contradicts the typical, hey, like I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear. We're gonna be overly polite, but really like what you say doesn't reflect actually what you mean or what you feel, versus they're actually saying what they feel, what they mean, and it can be brutally honest. But I think some people respect that. Like I like it.
Yeah, like I'm really attracted to bravery, whether it's like vocally or like physically even. I really admire that about Tom in all his songs. Like you said, it's very controversial without him trying to be controversial. He's not trying to fit that glove. Like it's just his views, and it's very honest. And it really makes me think about the other side of things that aren't as clear, because it's usually opposite of what you hear or see in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was very clever when he said something about, people think that you hate me, but how could you hate me? If you hate me, that must mean that you hate yourself, because he's kind of like a byproduct of who Eminem became. And so it's awesome that he dedicated this song to him in a way that was like his style from his Dear Stan song.
Yeah. And it's funny because controversial, I think, it's almost like subjective, because controversial, it's only controversial when a mass population believes the opposite and then makes it like, I don't know, it's weird because I've seen some controversial topics where I feel like, yo, this isn't even controversial. Right? It's just an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Right. You have a lot of controversial figures. But what they say is just like, I don't see it. It's just contradicting what the mass population believes, which I don't think there should be anything wrong with that. You just have different like ideologies,
or what they expect you to believe.
Right.
Because I would say a lot of people quietly can disagree, knowingly that like what they believe is not what's expected of them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's another good video by Tom. Nova did a good job recording it, and like this.
Was it not produced by Eminem?
But the video was shot by Nova. So I like the scene with like the car and like the water is kind of coming down and he's just like sitting on top of the car, and then like he had a good scene there where he just had the old school small box TV, where there's like nothing on it. So it reminded me of the Stand. If you remember the Stand video, it starts off with Stan like in a very similar room just writing. And then he uses the Jason hockey mask, which represents M used that hockey mask, I think, in a performance, if I remember right.
Oh, with the what do you call that machine? Chainsaw, right?
Because it mimics
Jason
Voorhees. Yeah, Jason Voorhees. And then like the whole na 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 na. That's
he did that?
Yeah.
I wonder if he wrote produced by Eminem as inspired by Eminem.
It's a good question. It's definitely a good question.